A break in another case after that New Year's Eve shooting that killed a teen football star.
Another teen arrested as the victim was laid to rest over the weekend. Local 10's Roy Ramos is live in Fort Lauderdale with new details on this arrest. Roy.
And the suspect in this case, just 17 years old himself. He's now facing a charge of murder with a firearm. And today in court, state prosecutors said that they were looking at every single detail of this case very closely as they now work to make the proper decisions about the future of this teenager's life.
Marquise Henry.
17-year-old Marquise Trayvon Henry faced a Broward County judge in juvenile court on charges connected to the death of 17-year-old Joshua Gibson Jr.
He is now being detained in the detention center for 21 days. They are very serious charges, murder with a firearm.
Just this Saturday, family and friends gathered at Rightway Ministries for a vigil to say their goodbyes to the teenager with a promising future in football and plans to attend Virginia Tech next year. Sadly, his life would be cut short after police said he was caught in the crossfire of a shooting outside of a CVS on Fort Lauderdale Beach New Year's Eve. Gibson was shot in the leg and back while he was rushed to the hospital. Sadly, he died.
Isn't that crazy? You know, caught in crossfire. You know, the kid was, you know, a star football player, as they were saying, and, you know, out and about in Fort Lauderdale. You know, it's New Year's Eve, so, you know, it's typically what people are doing. They're out and about. And, you know, to get caught in the crossfire of a shooting, and now a 17-year-old is, you know, arrested and being charged with the crime. And, you know, they said he, you know, was headed to Virginia Tech. More than likely was going to play football for Virginia Tech. And, yeah, I mean, the typical profile, typical, you know, description. And, here we go. You know, more senseless violence. Doesn't sound like this person, the victim was supposed to be a victim, but when bullets go off and shots go off, there's no certain place that they're going to go, and this type of thing happens. You know, this is just one of the stories I had seen of like a football player, like a high school football player being shot in this past week. But this is just the one that kind of just stuck out to me, and I wanted to do a reaction to. You know, I've done a story on 15-year-old, 16-year-old, now 17-year-old, and an 18-year-old. You know, all teenagers, all have guns, all killed someone. You know, except the 16-year-old shot someone in the face, and we don't necessarily know, you know, what's going on with that just yet. But it just goes to show everyone at every age range, these kids have access to firearms. These kids don't know what to do with these firearms. They're not responsible enough to have firearms, and they're using them to commit violence. And on the other end of that violence is someone's loved one being buried. You know, and you know, not saying, I mean, I'm sure, you know, the age range can go even lower than that. You know, I'm sure it's 12-year-olds walking around with firearms, maybe even younger than that. But that's like what's going on in our communities these days, you know, and it ends up being these type of results. You know, I guess, you know, they think that this is like a video game, that life is like a video game, and, you know, if they shoot someone, they'll go to jail, but then they'll spawn back out into the world and be able to just go on about their business. But, you know, this isn't a video game, this is real life. And, you know, now you're in a situation to where they can try you as an adult, and you can spend the rest of your life growing up institutionalized. You know, and you know, life is you know, life is more to life than just being behind somebody's jail cell, and, you know, being in a little box with other men, and, You know, being told when to wake up, being told when to go to sleep, always having to watch your back, always having to, you know, look tough or be tough or try to defend yourself, or, you know, just being in the institution of where you have to, you know, grow up really even faster than you did on the outside. And it's gonna be times where these people more likely are gonna sit there in their cell, looking up at the ceiling, smelling their you know their fellow inmates boo boo because they just took a dump, and think to themselves, you know, I was real stupid to get myself into the situation, but now it's too late. Now it's too late, you know. But see what else they say here.
With cases of this serious matter, the state is really trying to look into everything and make sure that they make the appropriate decision.
And in court today, state prosecutors were also discussing another case. Well, the attorney representing Henry asked for a continuance. Both of those cases will be heard on the 14th. We'll be there for that and let you know what happens. For now, in downtown Fort Lauderdale, Roy Ramos, Local 10.
That's craziness. So go ahead and close this out. More likely sure that this Local 10 News is going to do an update on this, because, you know, they'll have people that's going to follow with this story. And, you know, as he was just saying, whenever they, you know, have the continuance hearing, they'll be there in attendance. So we'll just see if more information comes out about this. And I'm going to go ahead and close out. If you like my content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. This is Justin Paul. Peace.